Hey, so, I was going to try to bring some things into perspective for a lot of people. Um, Now, it kind of goes along with the conversation that I had previous to this one about the concept of the past and the present and the future in regards to movie making, and then ground zero would be Barnes& and Noble, and then the future of movie making. Which technically would mean that all movie making leads to ground zero, which is still yet to happen, and that is a conference time period or a realigning time period, and then any book that's ever been made at Barnes & Noble, any fictional movie or any fictional idea gets put into a movie or a TV show. Now, while we're thinking about that, I want to put into perspective what you are today. Now, everybody technically is the result of the 2 atomic bombs from us to Japan. Now, basically put it all into a position of the United States as king, and then there's everybody else. So it's kind of like the castle, and then the outskirts, the tents, and then the further tents, and then the further tents. And it's unfortunately, if you like our particular person, everybody is basically then designated to do a specific thing for the castle. And then the castle repays everybody with technologies and modern day improvements like roads or buildings or architectural designs for this, or free giveaways as far as amusement parks and this and that. And then we contract them to do certain things for us with all of their extra spare time, since they're all in trouble, and that's where we get our electronics from. So you can kind of see everything, electronic comes from China, and that's technically where the United States designated them to just concentrate all of their efforts on microtechnology, and then getting smaller, and then learning how to develop smaller than that, and smaller than that, and then video gaming, and so on and so forth. The only thing that they couldn't tell China what to do was where they're going to get their ideas from, as far as where they're going to get their fun functions from, their characters. So everything that also is concluded with the movies, no one ever talked about where all of California is going to get their ideas from, since they got given the technological advancement of making video cameras and then making movies while trying to entertain everybody. So you have 1945, the bomb goes off, and then, the age of fashion, and then the age of manners, and then suddenly this camera pops up, and you have everything after that. Now everybody is basically under the stress of keeping the peace, while also the super side effect of when you do become a superstar, what, happens after that. And that's where everybody is sort of at this day and time at conflict, meaning, the actors and actresses, when they come up with a movie and then their personal life is only seen by this particular government facility, which can basically be the camera corporation of your phones, or of, microphone industry that can hear everything, which is basically the porn industry. Anything to do that you do in your personal time. And then that's judged, and then these people are being punished by a radical organization that makes them do a second movie that says, now tell them what you did in your personal time, and then tell them that you liked it. And you get the ruined concept of movie making, because they have personal grievances that they want them to act out in their next movie. It's a premeditated judgment day. So it's the religion and its premeditated judgment put on a world scale, so that some secret organization could then say at a particular given time what they weren't caught doing, that they're virgins, that they're perfect, that they've never done anything wrong, which is the black community. They already knew that they had the stigmata of once we put them in slavery, so they've been playing coy for, a very, very, very long time, getting in the sort of back rooms of all of these places, and then somehow they got themselves the government of the camera community. And then when the porno that you made, when you just were looking for attention, went into this group over here, that group with some amount of power that they developed with, the fact that there was the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, and anything else that has to do with athletics, became a stronghold for them to also become the government for the porno industry. So once the acting community made the mistake of drifting into the porno industry, they found themselves in a position of being told what to do. So their next movie had to say that they did that, liked it, and that changed their daily life. So you then have the beginning of the end as far as Hollywood goes. And that's where we are today, where everything is turned black, but they're all virgins, but they're all from heaven, and then they're all perfect, and they've never made a mistake. So the people that wrote the movie originally, where the whole movie was white, they put in some black saints in the position of white characters, and then they put the bad person that was black in a white character because they had grievances that they needed to respond to as far as actors that they were jealous because they were just so cool for school. But then in their porno, there was a single small discrepancy because things go a little sideways sometimes, not all the time. They decided to use the sometimes as their character description. And they wanted everybody to know about the sometimes and resculpt that type of white human person for everybody to see. And now they have even a better reputation as the black community for the children because they're just, these black people saved them. But they don't realize that the screenplay was that the white people saved them and the characters were all switched around. So you have a situation of somebody got into the screenplay room of all of these studios and they decided to rewrite who was casted for certain roles just so they can sort of take out some grievances. Now that happened for the last 5 years straight. And then they got a hold of making everybody sit at their houses and watch the Redbox movies so that basically what you have now is a very, very slow moving trying to turn America into Africa. Because all of these movies on your Hulu, on your Roku, on your Amazon Prime, if they are made in the last 5 years, basically have some nigger hero that has a intelligent role and is being victimized but comes through in the end, which is a total white script. Now, this is something that is also so slow moving that is now filtered into the political arena. So you basically have everybody dying, but then a nigger stands up and says, "Hoorah, look at me, blah, blah, blah." And you got, 25 postings out of 26 postings on CNN that says niggers are a hero. And that's basically where we're all at. It can't stay this way because it's a white continent, but they think that it can. So you basically have ground zero approaching. And that's where Barnes and Noble comes into play, and that's where everybody's wondering, like, what about me? Well, it's very, very easy to make whatever it is the United States problem is go away, because the way that you take over the United States isn't by exploding everything at once. It's basically, let's just say that CNN has 50 programs that they need to say on their CNN app. You can take over the entire world if you have all 50 programs one thing. So that means you don't need to explode everything. You need 50 stories. And you can control the world, because when you control the media, you can control the world. If you can control the popular opinion, you can control the world. They haven't yet figured that out. So realistically, if anybody ever wanted to take back the United States and turn it into white, you just need to somehow make white people a hero on 50 single stories, and you have yourself the United States as white again. Doesn't mean everybody has to explode in a big atomic bomb, and then there was white firefighters that went and blew and put water on everything. It just is a riddle. Everybody doesn't know how the return of Christ actually happens, or Superman, or the white president of the United States of America, but basically it is only up to God on how that happens. But when it does happen, you'll know, and then, the curse words of the world, which is fuck, shit, damn, and nigger, basically get put into their place, and nigger is Nigeria, so all the niggers basically don't like it called nigger, because the only thing that you can ever do to piss them off is say, we're going to send you back to where you came from, since that's where you like to act in front of people that are domesticated, people that have manners. You like to still be a jungle person. So since this lie detector test and these videos show that you're a jungle person, we're just going to send you right back to where you came from. And that's a Christ word, because it's basically implementing Jesus Christ's return, which is implementing justice. And you can't fuck, and you can't shit, and you can't damn. Trying to figure out those riddles as best you know how. Just basically bringing back marriage, because that's sex, not fuck. And then shit is no more steroids, because there's horse shit. And then there's damn, don't do anything that makes the sky start to fall, which is like rain. So you got to manage that too. And the only way that it rains is when somebody thinks that they should be president, and they're not a good president, but they're prophesying that they will be the best president, and then it starts to rain. So all you got to do is balance out all of the places that cause abundance of rain. Like, for instance, Washington State has the stigmata of everybody in other continents thinking that the president lives in Washington State. It's technically misleading everybody, and it won't stop raining because there is no president there. But a lot of people think that there is, and so it's false advertising, and it just never stops raining in Washington State. And that's the reason why it always rains there, because they are hiding under a cloak of a subconscious divide in Washington, D.C., way over in Virginia, where the White House really is. Anybody that was raised in a third world country that's a minority that can barely speak, they can not get the right information all the time, will lend all of their hatred and rage and slavery and put it to Washington State. They would be wrong, and Washington State gets a lot of rain. If you stand up and say, I want to be president, and then you have all of this background stuff that a lie detector test will easily find out that you would make a bad president, it'll rain in that city. It depends on if they're taking you seriously about being president, though. It can't just be that you're standing up there. People have to, this portion over here has to think you would be a great president, and then have it be by the natural order of God, be wrong, and then it'll rain. So all you got to do is make sure that you don't damn everything by selecting the wrong president. When you do decide to make Christ happen, doesn't mean that Christ has to be president. It just means that Christ showed justice. Now, if you're choosing a president alongside that, just make sure that it's not raining when you're choosing a new president, and then you can avoid the damn part. So once this all happens, that's ground zero. Now then you have the part where all of Barnes & Noble comes into play. And that's where you have, whatever the world decides on how it is they're going to make that happen with all of the controversies and opinions. Now, it depends. Once you have technically control over the media, then if that person has the right information, then it's really just then telling everybody what it is you're going to do at that point. For instance, my bracelet government. And that basically would say that, everybody just sit in your houses. We got some things to talk about. This is an emergency broadcast system. Now, fortunately for everybody, congratulations. You made it to the first day of the rest of the world. Has anybody ever read a book? Do you like them? Well, I do too. Well, fortunately for you, all of these need to get made. We're going to divide up all of Barnes & Noble into every single city and state in the United States of America. Now, we're going to make an independent Hollywood in every single United States of America state. Now, everybody has to basically, calm down, relax, and it's an exciting time. We're also going to divide up all of the magazines, Glamour, Vogue, and Cosmo, and basically put it in a statewide level so that it's not on a worldly level, it's on a statewide level. It'll say Cosmo, Arizona. It'll say Glamour, Arizona. It'll say Vogue, Arizona. And then you have everybody that's now downsized to their own individual states. So we can start concentrating on how everybody can be happy legitimately, safely, and in each other's borders. Now, once everybody knows that they're getting a Hollywood and they're getting a glamour studio and a modeling studio, well, then you basically have to let everybody know that, guess what? We have a microphone in every single phone and a video in every single phone, and everybody has a cubicle person listening and watching everything that you say. Man, you guys are fun. I mean, you guys are funny. We've decided that, unfortunately, not you, but some of you have began to sort of hurt people. Now, it's all caught on video, and I don't want anybody to freak out. Because, unfortunately, in the scheme of human nature, from being a caveman to the castle era to now, there is a tendency to have a little bit of excess turn into sort of force, and then hate, rage, anger, and then abuse of power. Now, this, unfortunately, for the women or the men, in all cases, is against God's will. Now, it's not your fault, because we technically didn't raise everybody right, and if you missed school, you didn't get in trouble by the government, and if you couldn't go to school, you didn't get in trouble by the government, and we didn't do what we could have done to save you from yourself. Your temper tantrums went unheard. So here's what we're going to do, because we don't think that it was your fault, and every person that was a human to be born with has every single capacity for joy and happiness. But you weren't given joy and happiness because of your parental upbringing, meaning someone, unbeknownst to yourself, chose your closed environment that made you enact and break through your own walls, per se. And that then lent to, once you realized you didn't get in trouble for breaking out of those walls, you found out that it's a different way of life to live outside of anything legal. And then nobody stopped you, and then why go back? And the reason why you liked doing it, and I will go ahead and acknowledge this now, we have in the future, when everything is said and done, a bracelet world where everybody that makes a lot of money and has done everything from step by step by step in regards to pleasure, because we will be stopping by their houses after they do a job well done with our different industries that we offer you. You get a place that you can go to and experience certain realms of pleasure. Now, our highest of the high level of pleasure is where there is almost no laws. Yes, well, you're technically a little bit numb to easier, nicer things, and there is ways to get that self-gratification and self-importance back, except you've tried everything else. And there are some women that enjoy this, however, you would never know because it's an illusion that we build, and you leave very satisfied. Now, there are people that have decided to break through their walls because of certain elements in their household where it accidentally lends to, I make a lot of money and I break my own rules. Yes. You're not a bad person, you're just taking advantage that you're a millionaire. And nobody has told you otherwise. Well, we know you all by name, and you're not in trouble, and you're not going to prison. What we are going to acknowledge is that we made a mistake, and we're going to put you in a place where we can rebuild your structure from the beginning. And now everything is temporary, and you will be able to have fast advancements in the way that everybody else was given, and I'm in grade school, junior high, high school, and college, and also emotionally. You will be given every single ability that they had without the problems that you personally ran into. And that is a neighborhood built and designed around your problems and your solutions. And I mean, boxes sent to your house so that you can look at it, take it calmly into consideration, and apply your level of aptitude. Regrow parts of your brain that you didn't know that you could regrow, and then different other aptitude boxes. Before you know it, you even believe that you're a sophisticated person, and you'll be able to move back into the normal realm of society. Based on the fact that we believe that all humans have the capacity to be the same human, we will take into consideration that all of us have a brain, all of us have a brain matrix, that certain brain matrices were not given what others were given. We will give you those pieces, and you will forget that you ever did these things. Now, as long as everybody is okay with you being where they are and they can't notice any difference because everything is everything is being monitored, you can stay wherever you go. And these are the things that I wanted to tell you about everybody wanting to be a part of the movie studio, the movie industry, and the modeling studios and the modeling industries. Now, it's an exciting time, and just want to let you know that even if you have done some seriously radical things inside your personal life and you know that you will be going to jail, try to take this into consideration. And it comes into a story that I want to give you as a metaphor, something to think of when you're wondering, well, I know I'm the worst there ever was. There once was a person who hung a sign. The sign was at an intersection, and he saw 500 cars go every which way. He knew that those cars were going to tell more cars and tell more cars, and he was going to be famous. This world works that way. Then he put up signs in the same day in a garage. When he decided he was done with the first floor, he went to the second floor, then the third floor. When he was on the fourth floor, he could look out the side of the garage, this big parking area full of cars, and he could see every single intersection around him. And he realized where he hung his signs at that intersection, that, well, where he knew he would be famous, that in comparison to all of the intersections, he is absolutely nobody. There is 100 million times more people in the world that you can possibly comprehend on your best, smartest day. The only thing that you need to know is that we built everything so that we could keep everything, And dead bodies smell really bad, not to mention the spirits and poltergeists. It was our fault. Nobody dies. Because if you think that your standard based on your church is where you should die, then half of the world is dead. We don't have any intentions of killing anybody. We have every intentions of moving everybody. So if you like your own privacy, and if you like being able to go for a walk, and if you like being able to contemplate and think of things, well then the new government is the place for you. Now, as far as you being somebody that wants to excel on ground zero, well then there is boxes even for you. Now these boxes might include sit-down movies that you watch where somebody instructs you on the concepts of acting, comedy, singing, modeling, and then practicing them. Now, everybody also has the opportunity to showcase their drawings and paintings and singing renditions, and there will be an immediate trade program that you can use with our immediate electronic organization that is implemented into your television. We have an appraisal site set up and ready to go. Money to be given out to everybody as long as there's and anything that you create and your picture will be taken and in your simple bio will be given, and everybody already has these that then is cast out into the world. When somebody wants to go digging for a painting, we let them see yours, who it's from, your basic attributes. They give you a price, and then you sell it. You make money, they keep your wall art in their house somewhere, and this will be an exchange. And we'll grow that from that concept, and then there will be single standalone dances. There will be, and anything and everything that you make on at first will be on an individual basis. Your dance will go to one person. The government will watch everything that everybody does, and once they realize that there is a particular expertise to different sections of this form of entertainment, they will also, in a little while, month, 2 months, 6 months, implement the 500 channels that you know and love based on everybody's performances, getting a 24-hour opportunity. So you'll still have stars in your future, but we're going to begin it with a trading process. Now, in the effect of Curtis talking about the giraffe and Aladdin's lamp, anything that is suddenly given a stadium observance has the potential, once they are given a crowd-pleasing yes, has the potential to shapeshift. Absolutely.